Alright, hello my friends. I hope you're all doing well. So, we're back with more Wildfrost. Let's take a look at what's new in town. First off, I've got Bushu, the new pet, who is on a 6-turn cooldown, does 3 damage, and restores 3 to all allies. I think generally I prefer Snoof over this, because Freeze I think is a really powerful effect, and a 6-turn cooldown is really, really long. But I think there are definitely applications for that in a tanking or healing deck. We also unlocked the second tribe, the Shademancers. These skilled warriors unleash the power of darkness by summoning spirits known as Shades to aid them in battle. Shades can absorb enemy attacks, be powered up to create devastating opponents, or strategically sacrifice to gain various boons, and I'm sure we'll see that all in play as we go. I'm pretty sure that's it. We have gotten one of these achievements unlocked in our last run, which had stack 5 blocked on a single target. Everything else, equip 10 charms. We've also unlocked these slap crackers, and that seems to be an item that does aimless 1 damage 4 times. Not super useful, although some applications with the items in your hand deal 2 extra damage card that we've had a couple times already. Ignoring the daily run, and let's get going. So, who do we have? Alright, so we have 2 people from the new clan, and 1 person from our old option. We are, of course, activating the Dread Bell still. So, this one is a 2 attack, 5 cooldown, with Smackback that also applies 1 poison. So, Smackback's kind of interesting, but only on a 7 health unit, so there will definitely be some attacks you won't be able to take. 6 damage, 5 cooldown, aimless. I really don't like that. That seems like a really weak guy, not being able to determine what you're hitting. And Dalka, 5 damage, restore 3 on kill, that's not terrible. I think the best of these 3 leaders in a vacuum is going to be this one, but I do want to check out the new tribe, so we're going to pick Dalka, I think. Well, let's go. I will still take Snoof. I think having access to Freeze is really good. Although, given that this tribe probably doesn't have Freeze as a core mechanic, 1 Freeze might not be as useful. I did very briefly start another run, but there was a minor recording issue, so I abandoned it, so that's why you see an extra leader there. Alright, let's go look at the journal page, because we're a new guy. Shades. Shades were elusive shadow creatures known for their ability to possess objects. These rarely seen beings could occasionally be found in dark, cold places like shells and pots. After the Wildfrost, as the world grew colder and darker, shades became more prevalent and powerful. They began to possess dangerous objects and animate them into monstrous opponents. A tribe known as the Shademancers found a way to harness the power of these creatures. Using uniquely crafted masks, they were able to turn them into reliable allies. Alright, cool. So we are like a summoning faction, I guess. I should have taken a look at my deck before going into the fight, but let's do that now. We've got our allies. Okay, we do have a way to apply freeze, and actually this is an even better way to apply freeze than our other tribe had. The Tar Blade deals damage equal to Tar Blades in hand, so this can deal probably on average like 2 or 3 damage. I do hate this item a lot currently, in at least without having looked at it right now, because it's clogged up our whole deck with these things. Increase health by 1, hit all targets in the row, so that's increase, not just heal, I think. And we do have this. Countdown deals 1 damage and counts down cooldown by 2, so we can use that on enemies for basically to finish them off, or on allies, but they take a damage. So slightly worse most of the time than the Sunrod that we had in our previous deck, but still useful. And then Junjun is an aimless 3 cooldown, 2 attack shade. So our basic summon, I'd say, is pretty good. Can often tank a hit. I think this deck probably needs more help than the Snow deck to be competitive. We'll need to add a few more cards, just because our basic attacks clog our hand so much. That said, we've got, this will deal 3, I believe. I wish it would list it. Deal additional damage equal to tar blades in hand. So does this deal 2 because I've just played it, or does it deal 3 because we started with 3 in hand? Normally I would play one of these 2 effects, get them developed, but I do need to know how much damage these tar blades are going to deal. So I guess we'll do that next turn, but for now I'm going to develop Snoof first. Take a damage. Then we're taking 1 damage on each of 2 things, that's totally okay. I'm going to tar blade something and see how much damage this does. Okay, so it does do 3, it counts itself, that's good to know. So that'll do 2, this one will deal 1. Let's summon a Junjun. We can have this restore 3 health on kill, but given that the Snowbow could attack something else, it's better just to finish the Snowbow before it attacks. Do waste an attack here on Dalka, though. Alright, so one other thing to keep in mind is that we don't have a lot of ways to deal single points of damage, so it's harder for us to farm the goblins. But let's move Snoof here to freeze. Nope. Let's pay attention. So this unit has teeth, which means I cannot have Snoof hit it, or Snoof will take a bunch of damage. So let's redraw here. Could just heal all my units. I could summon another Junjun. The fact that you can just fill up your whole board with these by looping through this card is pretty cool. So let's start with that. These are often just going to deal 2 damage and then die, given that this thing has teeth. We can then deal 3 to the Winter Worm. I'm going to have the Junjun hit the Goblin first before doing anything else, and we will deal 2 damage to the Winter Worm. So, summon loses health after triggering and cannot be recalled. Okay, so that's good to know. So this one will die, but that's okay, because it only would get 1 more attack anyways. Now, I need to stop Snoof from attacking into the Winter Worm. And the only way that I can do that is by recalling Snoof. So we have to do that. Deal 1 point to the worm. I could increase the health of these things by 1, but that's not terribly relevant, so let's deal 1 point to the worm here. Then my Junjuns will finish it, or Dalka will finish it. So if Dalka hits it, they take 4 and then regain 3, so that's totally okay. I could shuffle here to try to redevelop Snoof or another Junjun, given that my hand is... So my hand is pretty good, because I want to keep the Blizzard Bottle to hit one of the next wave enemies, but I think I do still need to develop, otherwise I don't have a useful play this turn. Alright, we redrew the Blizzard Bottle anyways. Resummon. So we take 4, but heal 3. I can deal 3 to this, and then finish it with Junjun, so let's do that. The Junjun goes down to 1 health, but that's okay. And then we'll freeze this for 3. Have 3 damage in my hand between those 2 cards. Plus 5 from Dalka. So we can just power through the rest of this fight. I can take 2 on something. Let's take 2 on this summon. Ping that guy. One thing I was kind of interested in there, because that guy has a 2 default cooldown, is if I set his cooldown to 0, would it then attack twice? And it didn't, so that's also good to know. Alright, so we have 1 companion as an offer. We can get cash and a card, or a charm and a card. I think a charm is really nice to get, so we'll do that. I'll wait to apply it until we see what our... Alright, we'll save that. This is a pretty bad charm, in my opinion. At least for what we have right now, but pulling stuff to the front can definitely be relevant against backline enemies, especially some of the bosses that cover 2 tiles, that cover both rows. So we'll save this for later, and we'll see what card and companion we get before we equip it, of course. Alright, so the card. Summon a copy of an enemy on your side with 1 health. That is a cool effect. There's a lot of enemies that hit really hard or have really cool static effects. This can be very valuable. Summon She-Popper. When destroyed, deal 8 damage on the enemy side. Deal 8 damage to allies in the row. Consume. Can only be used once per battle. So this is a conditional 8 damage nuke for a whole row. Pretty powerful nuke, but quite conditional, because you have to both have a free slot on the enemy row and then also deal 4 damage to the thing. So I don't think I like this card that much. Before an enemy attacks, apply 1 Demon Eyes to them. That's a cool effect, but I think the Shade Wisp is really nice. Also, this clan that we are playing has anti-synergy with totems, because you have so many summons that want your board slots. Alright, so we have an option of Demona. Groff. Trigger when an ally is sacrificed. We don't have any way to do that yet, but it does attack for 10. And you can get this on like a very low cooldown if we had sacrificing effects. And this guy just has 2 teeth and gains 2 teeth every time it ticks down. So Taiga's kind of cool. We don't have a lot of ways to heal or tank. And I think most of our tanking is going to be done on summons. Does it count as sacrificed if the health of a summon ticks down to 0? I'm going to assume no, but I might just take Groff anyways to try to figure that out. And if this run is doomed because we have no synergy with this synergy required guy, then so be it. Let's go take our fight. Alright, so we're up against the Berry Witches. I think this is probably a harder fight than the other one that we saw, as our second possible fight. So I can Shade Wisp something like the Berry Witch, which is kind of a cool option, because then we can have the Berry Witch heal our allies. Obviously, Shade Wisping the Earth Berry that deals additional damage equal to its health, not relevant, particularly. But for now, let's develop Snoof. I need to freeze this or damage it. We only have 1 damage in hand. I mean, I could just tank 6, but I think it's probably worth using a Blizzard Bottle to not tank 6. I could have Snoof hit this and then have Dalka kill it. I could summon a Berry Witch. I could trigger Groff. I think we'll start by summoning a Berry Witch. So one thing I guess that's important about this is that because it's summoned and it has 1 health, it only gets 1 turn, unless we use the Berry Bell to give it a 2nd turn. Over here, I think the plan is going to be to Tarblade the Earthberry and then kill it with Dalka. That way we get value out of our 1 damage Tarblade. And I'm okay tanking 5 on this, so let me just check turn order real quick. So 1, then 2. So that'll attack, then that will restore its health. So that's actually a problem, because then we won't kill it. So I would need to do something to prevent this Berry Witch from attacking, or do something to the Earthberry. So let's redraw. I have 4 damage Tar Blades, so that's good enough. We can just kill this Berry Witch. Earthberry hits, and then we attack it back, regaining all our health. Got 2 Earthberries and a Gobbling happening. Now, I'm going to lose my Berry Witch this turn. This Earthberry also has thorns, very important to keep in mind, as we saw in my last run. Snowburb applies 4 freeze to the back enemy in a row, so that can be pretty devastating, honestly. What if I plan to kill this Earthberry with 3 damage, plus 3 damage from the Tar Blade, and then hit the Snowburb for 2, leaving a 2 damage Tar Blade to finish it off? I think that seems like a pretty reasonable plan. Heal heal Dalka back to full. So now Dalka is in a position where they can tank the thorns if necessary. Let's spend a turn summoning a Jun, I guess. Here I can take 6 on my Earthberry, or the Earthberry is going to attack for 6. I can take 6 on Dalka and plan to heal that back. I'm also currently not stopping the Gobbling from escaping, and also not farming the Gobbling at all, which isn't great. We do get to redraw next round, and can redraw into the Blizzard, into the freeze effect. Also, something to keep in mind is I don't want Snoof to attack into the thorns, so I'll need to do something about that as well. Do think the plan of killing the Snowburb is still important to do. We'll take 6 here. Now we've got a 2 damage hit incoming and a 3 damage hit from Snoof. The Teeth would kill Snoof, so I might have to shuffle Snoof back in. The Gobbling is also escaping this round. So let's shuffle Snoof in to avoid losing him. Do a redraw. Didn't redraw Snoof, but did redraw this. Did redraw into the Blizzard Bottle, which we were hoping for to stop the Gobbling from getting away. Can do 2 to the Earthberry, although Jun might attack the Gobbling, which I guess we would prefer. Nice. Now I can deal 2 damage to the Earthberry, or 3 damage to the Earthberry, and have Dalka kill it, taking 4 and then healing back up to 4. Definitely a bit of a risky health total to be at, but this is kind of a tough fight, and our deck is so full of these awful Tar Blades. Alright, we've got 2 turns on this guy, Berry Witch. We could also summon a Shade Wisp copy of Queen Glowberry, but that's not terribly useful. I think I will probably summon a copy of Berry Witch, though. Can either tank a hit or be used to heal. I could also hit the Gobbling to farm a little more money. We can do that next turn as well. We're only getting 1 more hit on the Gobbling, kind of no matter what I do, I think. So let's spend 1 turn getting this guy online. Now the Gobbling is going to escape no matter what we do, but we can hit it with the Tar Blade, and then Jun would hit Queen Glowberry, but let's actually have Jun hit the Berry Witch. And I will spend a turn just farming 4 money, because I'm not too worried about this fight at this point, I think. Here I can deal 1 damage to something. If that's relevant, or I can reshuffle. I think we do want to reshuffle because I really want to draw into my freezing effects and into Snoof again. Groff currently not doing anything, but let's actually test developing Groff and see if when the Jun attacks next, Groff goes off. Here we've got the Berry Witch dealing 2 to something, so I'll tank that on Groff, I think. It is going to heal itself for 2, but that's okay. And then we will heal everything else for 2, which will keep the Jun alive, and keep the Jun alive, kill the Berry Witch, and if that counts as sacrifice, then Groff will attack. So we're learning here. And I'll also just spend the turn developing Snoof. So that attacks, it dies. Groff does not attack. Okay, so currently we have no way to trigger Groff. Pretty useless in our deck at the moment. I'm going to pop this Jun in to tank the shot from the Berry Witch, or from Queen Glowberry, and we'll have Dalka kill the Berry Witch and heal. Then I will develop another Jun. So we are looking for ways to trigger Groff. And Sacrifice, of course, does have synergy with all our summons, so I'm not, like, upset about having this guy, but it would have been cool if it triggered just when a summon died. We'll deal 2 damage. And apply 1 freeze. Do some redrawing. Deal 4 damage. And finish the fight. Alright. Let's go get a card. First card we're adding to the deck. Just kind of our second card we're adding to the deck. So we do have these Slapcrackers, which we saw we unlocked. Kill an ally, apply 3 to enemies in the row. Perfect. So we wanted a way to sacrifice an ally. We also wanted more freeze. This Yeti Skull is great for us. Really glad we found that one. Now, I have the option of card, charm, or money, companion, shop. And we actually have a decent amount of money. We'd be getting more. We do have a companion slot left still, so let's do money, companion, shop. Alright, we've got Snoffle, who we saw in our last run and who I liked a lot. We've got Monch. Before attacking, eat allies in the row, absorbing their health and attack. So that one's kind of cool with summons, especially if I can use my Shade summon on a very high attack enemy. When destroyed, summon Dreg. So, does the egg then get wounded and have a chance of being permanently removed from our deck if it's destroyed? Or is it the Dreg that gets wounded? My guess is that the egg gets wounded. I also do want to try Munch. I think that's kind of cool with the summon deck, so let's give him a shot. It's possible that Snoffle is the best pick here. But I kind of like the idea of summoning things and then sacrificing them to trigger our Groff and to have Munch get huge. Oh, I also totally forgot I have this Hook Charm. Is there anything I particularly want it on? Pulls target to the front. I mean, I guess it's better to have it on a Tar Blade than to not have it on anything. Although I think this is still pretty useless. But maybe a 0 damage yank or a 1 damage yank comes up on occasion. Alright, let's take a look at what we've got. Apply 1 Demonize and restore 7 health. We've got a Crown, which I'm going to always buy the Crown, I think. Let's equip that too. Who do I want to start with start in play? I actually think I want Monch to start in play. So then if we tick him down quickly, then we can trigger Groff more rapidly. A Fallow Mask to summon Fallow, who has 8 health. and 2 damage on a 4-turn cooldown hitting everybody. Soulbound. Take 100 damage when other soulbound cards are sacrificed. Okay, so that's kind of cool. We can set this up so that we sacrifice an ally and just one-shot an enemy. It's a random enemy, so it's not necessarily going to kill bosses, but still pretty useful. Kill an ally, add their attack to all allies, consume. I don't know if we need a third way to kill allies. I'm pretty tempted to try this Soulbound Skulls and then just get a Charm, because we can't afford Fallow and a Charm, and I think getting a Charm is pretty nice. Although a Fallow that's a pretty sweet summon. We already have 2 summons, and I'm hoping I can pull these Tar Blades out of my deck as soon as I can, as soon as possible. So let's go with the Skulls, because I think that's a cool mechanic. I want to try it out, and we'll grab a Charm. I could also grab the Fallow instead of a Charm, but I don't want to bloat my deck too much. Alright, we've got gain Noomlin. Does not end my turn when played. Okay, so I could play that on Groff, for example, and then develop him for free. I could play it on one of the summons and then have those go off multiple times. I think I like that. So let's get the Junjun Mask, the Noomlin Charm, because I'm going to play that multiple times. I'm definitely playing this several times in a fight, and then we can, for example, play it and sacrifice it immediately, which is going to be a pretty valuable play. Alright, so that's a great charm. Really gives us some action economy, which is the king in these games. And let's go fight Bamboozle. So I'm going to see if we can Skullbind Bamboozle and one-shot him. Alright, we've got Monch and we've got Dalka on the field here. The Yank is kind of useful because on our Tarblade is mildly useful because we can pull the Winterworm or something to the front if that becomes a relevant play. So let's start by developing Snoof. One thing I should just, as a matter of habit, try to keep Monch not in the row with my leader, because if I have Monch eat my leader, then we'll just instantly lose the run. Let's spend a turn just freezing this Winterworm, because I don't want it to ever attack. Then so I could Berry Bell everything. I could Sunburst Tattoo something, like I could have Dalka attack this turn. Bamboozle hits all enemies, which is pretty bad for me if it goes off for the 3 damage attack. So let's spend this turn Sunburst Tattooing Dalka and just speed up my clock a little bit. Don't have any summons for Monch to eat. I'm okay taking 1 damage on something. Let's Tarblade. I think I still just want to DPS down Bamboozle. And then do I want to tank this shot on Monch or on 50% each of these? I guess I'm okay having Snoof at 1 health, so we'll tank the shot on Monch. And this guy also has the charm. Wait, what's its charm? How do I see what this charm does? Alright, I'm actually not certain what that charm is. It might be a reduced cooldown or something. But for now, let's just actually swap these. No, let's not. If I take the 1 damage on Snoof, that's okay. I'm going to take this, do 1 to Bamboozle, because then 2 plus 5 plus 2 damage Tarblade when I reshuffle kills him. Okay, we do take the 1 damage on Snoof, so important to note. We do have so many dead cards in this deck, I really need to hit a card removal effect. Alright, so now I can do the thing where I freeze all enemies. by summoning Jun. I could also just deal 4 and then 3 to Bamboozle, which is probably good, since I have these Tar Blades, and let's not spend the Yank Tar Blade on that. And this way I can, let's swap these. We'll have Snoof freeze the Winter Worm, got another Winter Worm out here. The Snowbow can just hit Munch for 1, that's okay. And then or this guy will freeze the summon, because of course Bamboozle's going to split into 2 units. Now, this will gain Frenzy when another wild card is killed, but right now it has the ability to... this one can be frozen, and this one can't, so we probably want to kill Bam first. Let's definitely use the Jun Mask. Doesn't end my turn, but... do I want Monch to gain 2 health off the Jun? Probably not yet. I'm really looking to get Groff into hand, because Groff just doesn't... until I can play Groff, it's not actually worth sacrificing units as much. Let's get a 2-damage Tar Blade going on something. I guess just on one of these Snowbows. Tank on one thing. So now I can have Monch attack just for 2. I could also have Monch attack for 4. I could also use the Yeti Skull to freeze everything. Which I think is going to probably be the play. So if I move the Jun to here, and then sacrifice it to the Yeti Skull, freeze all of these, we deal 5 damage to Boozle. Actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to swap around like this, because I want to kill Bam first. Oh, that has the problem of letting this Snowbow possibly hit Snoof, so let's not do that, actually. Give up a little bit of damage on Bam in exchange for this, but we do get to freeze everything. Alright, we've got 1 attack. Let's definitely spend this turn reshuffling. So the 1 attack Tar Blade just doesn't do anything for us. I'm okay just tanking 1 damage here and freezing Bam again. Probably just develop Groff this turn. Come on. Get out there. These Snowbows being on alternate turns, meaning I can never have Snoof in the top row, is actually really irritating. Let's Shade Wisp something so that next turn I can Yeti Skull and trigger Groff to double attack. So I guess I'll Shade Wisp a Winter Worm, because that has 8 attack. Alright, so we've got a 6 damage attack incoming from Bam, and a 1 damage attack incoming from the Snowbow. So if I were to place this Winter Worm up here and move Groff down here, no, I want Groff in this tile. Then we freeze everything up here. This Winter Worm would then attacks for 7, which we can tank on Dalka. And then Groff deals 10. Still not loving my position here. But dealing 10 is nice. Now we've got this guy who's double attacking and applying a freeze, but let's... oh right, Bam... Bam doesn't get frozen for multiple turns, so now we're taking an attack from Bam again, or 2 attacks if I kill Boozle first. Don't have a lot of damage to tank anything. So it's possible that I'm guaranteed to take a wound on something this round. Like, if I freeze this unit, take a 6 damage shot on something from Bam, and then have Snoof hit Bam. Take a wound on Monch, for example. I could also take a wound on Groff. No, I can't do that because Monch needs to be alone in a row. So yeah, so let's play the freeze on Boozle. We take a wound on Monch. And then Dalka can finish this fight. Bit of a sloppy fight by me, but we got there. I'm going to reshuffle and try to kill one more thing just for some money. Any of these have charms that I can kill. None of the things I can kill have charms, so we'll just kill this Snowbow. Alright. Over here, we definitely want the redraw bell counter. Our deck is having a real problem. And we've got an injured Monch, so Monch starts at half health, and if he dies, I believe he's out of the game forever. Don't need another Traveler. Wow, still no card removal. Yikes. But let's get another card, I guess. Alright, summon a copy of an ally. That's kind of cool. Summon Leech on the enemy side, which takes 2 health from all allies whenever it attacks, and it attacks for 2. I don't think we need that. This is summon a copy of an ally and consume. Increase attack by 2, barrage, consume. Let's go with the blank mask. I do think I want just more ways to summon. Alright, the Woolly Snail. I think we're pretty locked into just getting another crown. Crowns are really good because they also thin your deck. And then the one that we're going to start with the crown, I guess, is going to be Snoof. I want the ones with actual cooldowns to start ticking down as soon as possible. Not feeling great about this run, to be honest. I think our deck is too bloated with these Tar Blades and cards that mostly don't do anything, like Berry Bell and Sunburst Tattoo. The Sunburst Tattoo is okay, but Berry Bell, I think, is pretty useless. Do I want Restore 2 Health Barrage or Apply to Frost Barrage? I don't think we want either of those cards. Wish we could afford a Charm, but we can't, so I think we're just passing on the rest of the shop. Alright, let's do a battle. Start all my units on the board. I want Monch in his own row, just as always. Alright, so we've got the cat charm on this guy. Again, how do I see what this charm does? When hit, gain 1 thorn. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's what that does. So that's fine. That is much less bad than just actually having teeth. I'm going to definitely summon the Jun Jun, because it doesn't take a turn to do that. And then I could soulbound something with the Jun Jun immediately. We don't currently have a way to sacrifice except with Monch, but Monch is a viable way to sacrifice. So, do I want to spend a turn doing that? I could also develop like a Shade Wisp or something like that. But I think spending a turn developing the Soulbound Skulls is kind of cool. We'll see who gets Soulbound. Nice, so it's the back unit. That's exactly what we wanted, because now Monch is going to attack ahead of this guy and deal 100 to it by eating the Jun-Jun. Let's get Groff on the table as well. Now, I don't want to let this Pecan attack, so I will freeze it. We take 2, freeze the Shell Witch, dealing 3. I guess I could just have Snoof freeze it as well, and then the Jun-Jun can hit the Pecan. This applies 2 shields to all allies, and we take 2 on Dalka. That's totally fine. The shield on this doesn't matter because we're dealing 100 to it next round. Shield on this we can get around as well, so let's do that, and then that lets me spend a turn Shade Wisping, and I guess we will summon this Shell Witch, because that's the most relevant effect on a relatively short cooldown. Oh, of course, because we summon it in the same row, it dies immediately, because the summons show up in front. So, I don't get any effect from that, but that's okay. Now we move Snoof out of the way and have Monch eat this Jun-Jun, gaining 2 health and 2 attack. Which will then cause Groff to hit this. Groff will take 1 from the Thorns, but that's okay. Which means that what we want is to Blizzard Bottle the Conquer. Nope, wait, I shouldn't have done that, because that won't be left on the ground. Left on the table either. Only the Pecan was going to be left on the table, so I should have frozen the Pecan. I think we'll just take 4 on Dalka and then heal 3 of it back up. And do I want to redraw right away? Yeah, I should get my redraw back off cooldown. I can blank mask a copy of an ally. I could start sacrificing. We didn't draw any other ways to summon, which is a problem, but I should still definitely get a blank mask on the table. That would let me maybe double trigger like 2 Groff attacks, which could be really cool, but we don't have any other way to sacrifice stuff. So if I summon this, does it show up behind Dalka or in front? I guess let's find out. Okay, so that pushes Groff, the real Groff, out of the way. Kind of interesting to know how that placement works. So now, if I were to sacrifice something with the Yeti Skull, like I could sacrifice this Groff, then that could get me a ton of damage. I could also shuffle and look for another summon to sacrifice next turn, and then double trigger these Groffs. So we would get 2 Tar Blades, but probably get the Jun-Jun mask, but no other way to sacrifice without, because I'm shuffling away my Yeti Skull. Deal additional damage when hit, gain a Thorn, because he's got the cat thing as well. We've got the Goblin here also that I do want to try to farm a little bit. Groff double hitting this means he would take 3 damage, which isn't great, but if I use the fake Groff to do that, I guess there's no real good way to do that because of not having a way to sacrifice any unit that isn't the fake Groff, like we have no other summon there. Let's start with Tar Blading the Goblin, just to farm a little bit. Then we freeze this guy for 1. Then, do I want to sacrifice fake Groff? That would bring this to 3 Thorns, or just take 3 damage on real Groff, bringing this guy's Thorns up to 2. I could get like freeze on both of these I think that's worth doing. Like I said, I don't think I'm terribly impressed with this deck. Okay, so he actually... Right, the Thorn gets applied after the attack. So he only takes 1 damage instead of 3 damage, like I was thinking. Now I've got Monch attacking, so I could reshuffle looking for a summon for Monch, and then have Groff double attack something. That's probably pretty good. So if we reshuffle into a Jun Mask, now Monch will eat the Jun, and then Groff will attack, taking 2, killing this Conquer, which will have 4 health after the Shell Witch attacks, and then dealing 5 to the Shell Witch, which will have 8 health. So if I also hit the Shell Witch, then Groff will kill both units in this row, and be at 1 health. Monch will deal 5, so won't kill the Pecan, because it'll have extra health as well, but it will put it in range of my Tarblade attack. So that seems like a pretty fair way to play this one out. Scares me every time I see the animation of Monch eating something. Alright, we're gonna kill this. We also got a little extra health on the Goblin, which means I can maybe hit it a couple more times. So let's do that. Do 2 damage and farm an extra hit, and then I can deal 1 damage and then kill it and heal. So got to farm the Goblin a few more times in this round, which is pretty nice. When hit, gain 1 attack. Gain 2, and then a Pecan and a Shell Witch. We've got a Monch attack coming up. I do want to Blizzard Bottle something for sure, so let's just do that on the boss. Now I'm going to do a reshuffle looking for a summon for Monch. Got the worst of the 2 summons. Because I want the one without a cooldown, but that's okay. Let's put this on the Shell Witch. This Soulbound Skulls, incidentally, is doing basically nothing, so this is just kind of dead weight in our deck. So we killed that, now we've got the Shell Witch attacking for 2, healing 2 to all allies. The Monch plus Summons plan is really good, though, plus Groff. I think this is a very cool synergy that we've developed here. Just a 2 damage attack, I'm not super stressed by for any reason. I could just play a Sunburst Tattoo, get like Monch cooling down faster, or I could just do a little damage to something with these Tar Blades. I could pull the Shell Witch in front. It's probably worth doing. Technically, I should probably have tanked that on Dalka. But now I can have Dalka take a damage and attack immediately, killing the Shell Witch. You also do lose 1 value when you cast those cooldown spells, like cooldown by 2, when you have exactly 2 remaining, because it attacks, but then you lose 1 tick, since it's at 0 instead of at 1. Oh no, wait, actually it ticked from 5 down to 4, so... Okay, so you don't lose a value doing that. That's definitely good to know. Let's redraw here. So now I can play the Jun. I could sacrifice it immediately for 10 damage. I guess let's just make a Shade here. And now when Monch attacks, it's going to eat these, and Groff is going to hit for 20. So that's pretty cool. So we'll just hit that for 3. Oh, also, Monch just one-shot it, because it got so much. Well, we had like a 40 damage overkill there, so that's pretty cool. Monch also recovered from injuries, which is really nice. And we got an achievement for sacrificing 5 enemies in a single battle. Still no card removal. Alright, let's take a look at what we've got. So, the Mimic, trigger when an ally in the row attacks. So, alongside Groff, that could be pretty nice. Apply Overburn, explodes when more than or equal to health, damaging all targets in the row. So, that's a 3 damage attack that can, against a 6 damage enemy, deal a 6 health enemy, deal a bunch of damage. Deal 3 damage to all targets in the row. That's kind of cool. I think I like it more than the Ice Dice. I don't know if this is good to have in our deck, just because, again, my deck is getting really bloated. I would like to have, like, I don't know, like half of these cards, half this number of cards. But let's take this, because I do want to remove the Tar Blades as soon as we can, and having any direct damage effect is still useful, and that one has a cool Rider effect tacked onto it as well. I think I'd rather have 2 Charms than a companion we can't use, so let's grab some Charms here. Add 1 Scrap, so I can definitely... Wait. Oh, that only works on constructs. Alright. I was hoping I could add an additional Scrap health to a companion, but since it only works on things that already have Scrap health, that's useless to us for now. Alright, plus 5 health, that's great. Who do we want that on? Probably either Dalka or Snoof, like either the highest health or lowest health guy. This would make Dalka tank pretty well, so let's just do that. There's some consideration for putting it on Groff because of enemy thorns. Groff having multi-attack. Those were pretty bad charms also, obviously. One we couldn't use at all, and one I don't... The plus 5 health isn't particularly relevant. But let's fight this Woolly Drek. We get to start all our guys in play. We've got the Bigfoot. We've got Junjun Mask, but no way to sacrifice in hand. Apply 1 Demonize, also doesn't matter a ton, but let's definitely play our summon out. I could develop Groff, I could summon a copy of an ally as well, like I could summon Dalka, but I think we actually want to copy Groff usually in this deck, so let's play Groff. So now we take 2 and get a double damage effect on something. That's okay, we don't really care about that. So do I want to copy something that... I could either copy Groff to have extra damage attacks whenever I sacrifice something, or I could copy one of my other units just to get them cooling down. I think we will copy Groff though. This is our damage combo. I want to deal 3 to the Bigfoot because my plan is to redraw into a sacrifice effect next turn. And if I freeze this, then we actually don't need a sacrifice effect. Monch will just do it all by himself. And then I guess I play the 3 damage effect on Gromble. So now I probably have to recall Snoof because I want to keep both Groffs in play. And I want Monch to eat the Junjun. So I need this extra board slot. And I'm recalling before shuffling because I want to redraw Snoof. And then I think I want Monch to hit this for 4, and then my Groffs to kill the Bigfoot, and then hit the Woolly Drek with the leftover damage. But let's redraw into see what we get here. I could Soulbound the Junjun as well. That might be useful. I don't care if Grumble does 2 and demonizes much, particularly. Although I could also just Blizzard it. But I think we want to save the Blizzard bottle for the next wave of enemies. So yeah, let's do a Soulbound. This should basically clear all enemy units this round. Alright, didn't quite clear everything, but got this guy down to 12. Dealing 5 to it this turn as well, so let's just spend a turn Power Blading it, I guess. Oh, I was not paying attention to the Woolly Drek just being off cooldown and attacking. Okay. Well, we got Monch injured again. That's unfortunate. Definitely bad play by me there. I've got 2 damage. I could reduce the cooldown. I could just freeze something. Like, this Bigfoot, probably. Tanking 2 damage from each of these 2 attacks isn't a big deal. Really need to watch the enemy attack cooldowns, though. So we do have a way to sacrifice, but we didn't draw our cooldownless summon. I think we still do want the Shade Wisp out. That being said, the Shade Wisp would appear in front and just die to Grumble, so I can't summon the Shade Wisp this turn. So let's spend a turn summoning Snoof. I could also kill Groff with the Yeti Skull and just have the other Groff attack. We'll take 4 here and 2 here. I think it's better just spending a turn getting Snoof back on the board. Now I can Shade Wisp something. Let's Shade Wisp the Bigfoot. Pushes my Groff out of the way and summons in front. So it's important, I guess, with these summons to remember that the summons will always die if the enemy is attacking that turn. We got this guy who can tank the 2. My boss, of course, can tank the 2. The Goblin is escaping, which I don't really like. So let's sacrifice something and freeze. I guess I'll sacrifice the Bigfoot, freezing the Goblin and stopping it from escaping. And then Groff will hit for 10, Snoof will kill this. This Groff will kill and hit the Grumble a bit. So rather than that, let's have this Groff hit on the bottom row, because I don't really care about the Woolly Drek this turn. We're freezing it, but only for 1 turn, but that's okay. To be careful I'm never misclicking on the sacrifice effect, because if I sacrifice my leader, we lose instantly, I assume. Alright, we're having Dalka kill the Woolly Drek and gain 3 health back. Gonna redraw here. Spend a turn summoning the Junjun. The Battle Axe, I could have it hit the Goblin twice. If I hit it, and then it would deal damage to the Goblin again. I could also just Blizzard Bottle something, but I want to save that. I think, so that I don't have to think about it anymore, I'm going to make sure I'm getting my two trigger value from the Goblin this turn. So it equals, it deals 3 to everything. Hit that, heal back to 3. Or heal back for 3. And then we've got Big Lou summoned in. So this enemy has, when hit, gain 2 thorns. We've got Barrage and Can't Be Frozen. The Bigfoot is also really bad for us. So let's start with Blizzard Bottling the Bigfoot. Just want to make sure that that guy doesn't attack. Now, I can tank 4 damage on Dalka, and then 2 damage on the Junjun, but that would mean my Junjun dies. So let's actually tank the 2 damage on Snoof here. Then I've got a Tar Blade to hit something with for 3. I guess we'll hit this front Gromble. Really wish we had seen any way to remove cards from my deck. I know I've been complaining about that a lot, but this deck is so bloated. Alright, a 1 damage attack we don't care about. Let's redraw. This 1 damage attack we can figure out a good way to deal with. I can deal 20 in attacks to something if I sacrifice the Jun-Jun. And we can also get another Jun-Jun mask on the board, so let's do that. Freeze the Pawpaw, freeze Gromble, and have Groffs hit everything. If I move the Groff down here, then we get to clear both of these front units, which is pretty good. So let's do that. Do want to find a way to deal 1 damage to the Gromble as well. Alright, we lost our summoned Groff, but that's okay. Do want to find a way to deal 1 damage to the Gromble as well, so that the Groff trigger will kill it in 1 shot instead of 2. I guess I will copy the boss. Boss is now attacking everything in the row, unless I can freeze it. For 5 and apply to Frozen. So I may need to... I don't want to recall Snoof. I could recall Groff in order to save one of my 2 summons here. Is it more valuable to have a summon on the board or to have Groff already been played? I think we'll have a turn to redevelop Groff, so I'm going to recall. Then I move a summon. I guess I'll move this Bigloo and let the Jun-Jun tank this shot. And then we can deal a little damage to something. If we deal 2 damage, then 2, 5, 3, then we still only have a 1 damage Tar Blade in hand, so that doesn't help us kill the Gromble before it attacks. But we will redraw next turn, so let's deal 2 to the Gromble. We'll probably draw 2 Tar Blades. Be able to kill that before it goes off. This just swings for 1, so that's not a big deal. We didn't redraw our Groff, so I'll tank 1 hit on my leader here and just spend this turn killing the Gromble. Yeah, we drew no summons and no Groff. But now we do get to hit this, have this hit everything for 2 Frozen and 5 damage, so that's quite valuable. Our copied boss is doing a lot of work here. And actually, I'm going to spend this turn Berry Belling to keep the copied boss in play. And also because we don't have really anything good to do this turn. Now, Snoof hits for 3. I can freeze something. Gromble will be frozen long enough to die for free. I could freeze the Pawpaw. I could cool down something, but I don't think we need to do that. The big thing is I need to redraw into something to tank the shot on the barrage shot, but worst case scenario, we can just have the copied boss tank the barrage shot. So let's freeze that guy. That does count as teeth for the when hit, so that's also good to know. So if I do 2 damage to it, then a Tar Blade is likely to kill it. Oh, but I'm guaranteed to draw the Battle Axe, actually, so I can have the Battle Axe kill the Pawpaw this round. And that clears this turn. Without letting the teeth do anything. Now we've got this guy on 1 barrage, on 1 cooldown and barraging this round, so I could either freeze it once or tank the shot on the summon. tanking the shot on the summon is probably just the easiest way to do it. I guess, because I'd have to sacrifice an ally to freeze it anyways. Or use the Sunburst Tattoo on Snoof, but I think I'd rather just get Groff in play. Deal 5. Now we'll tick it down for 1 freeze. But here I'll just deal 1 damage to it with the garbage Tarblade. Now we get to resummon an enemy. It's at 3 cooldown, but now we can just hit it because it's only hitting this summon. Alright, so a slightly sloppy fight by me, but made it through with only the 1 injury. Oh, thank goodness. We finally have a way to remove cards. Let's get this money. Alright. Tarblades get worse as you remove them, but they're so bad already, I'm just removing them anyways. Feeling a lot better about this deck now that we've gotten 2 cards out of it. Kill an ally, apply 4 thorns to a random ally, 4 teeth to a random ally. Summon Tigris. Gain 1 when an ally's hit. Consumed, can only be used once a battle. And it has 2 teeth. I mean, I'm always buying a crown. Because that lets us start everybody in play. Now, do I want this summon? Let's first get a random charm, because the countdown by 1 barrage is also really nice. Better than my existing cooldown effect. So it's possible we buy any or all of these 3. Let's grab a charm and see what we pick up. Gain 5 from each kill. Not great, but sure, I'll equip that, I guess, to Groff. He's the most likely to get kills. Oh wait, does that work on ally kills? It probably does, so let's put this on Monch. And then, do I want another charm? Yeah, I think I'll only buy 1 card, so let's get another charm. Oh good, a snow charm. That's really nice to have. And we'll put that on either Snoof for double freeze, or on Groff, because he attacks twice and can apply 2 freeze with each attack. Groff, I think, is usually going to be killing stuff, although we're also copying Groff with the copy an ally effect frequently. So let's Snowball Charm. I think it's better to Snowball Charm Snoof, just for 2 freeze. Since stuff that Groff is hitting is usually dying anyways. And then, do I want any of these cards? I think a Consume summon is not a terrible thing to add to the deck, because we do want a few more summons, and it will thin itself out of the deck during play naturally, so it doesn't bloat as much as other cards would. Alright, that was a better shot for us. Let's keep going. We've got the boss, Krunker. Alright, we get to start everybody in play. So the Bombard is going to hit these 3 spaces, so we just have to be aware of that we're taking 8 on that. Also, the enemies have Smackback and Fury deal additional damage while alone in a row. Well, it'll never be alone in a row because of the Krunker. The Grink, we don't care that much about. Always Jun masking. And then the question is, do I... So if I Azul Battle Axe the Spike Wall, it would take 2 shots from the 3 and the Overburn. I don't want to allow that thing to, like, be hit. Although if we freeze it, like if Snoof hits it, then it just gets frozen, and so it doesn't do anything. I also obviously really want to get Krunker down as soon as possible. The Soulbound Skulls is going to do nothing in this encounter, incidentally. But let's start by with this. We take one tick off the boss, we take one tick off the spike wall. Or 2 ticks off the spike wall. Now, Grink we can allow to hit our boss. I don't care if our guy has 2 fewer attack, particularly. I could have Monch attack right away, kill this thing, and then that would trigger a Groff attack as well. Start getting this ticks down. That's not terrible. It does mean dealing 1 damage to Monch. I could also just Soulbound Skulls this, but given that the enemy's all scrap, that's not particularly good. So let's tick down Monch. We'll take 1 here. Monch will attack, but it'll kill it, so it won't take the smackback attack. Groff will kill this Grink, and then we can freeze the Krunker next round. So this guy is now going to bombard, but we're going to freeze. And then Snoof will freeze it again. It's probably worth it to just spend a turn tar blading, because it does it does as much damage as anything else. And it's a way to use this card that otherwise isn't accomplishing anything in this encounter. Next, I can just start getting some summons out. Like, I could summon a Groff here. Okay, so we've got enemies without scrap health, which is important to keep in mind. Monch is attacking this round. So I could pull Snoof back, and then summon Tigris, have Monch eat Tigris. I could just have Monch eat the Groff. I don't really like that. Although it does deal, have Monch gain 5 health, but double attacking with these Groffs is going to be really good. Then we kill this Spuncher right away. It does suck to recall Snoof on a turn where he's otherwise attacking, but I don't want Monch to eat him. So I think that's got to be the play. Monch also doesn't gain any attack from eating Tigris. Oh, I didn't check if we gained the money from eating it. I think we did, because we're back up to 60 and we were pretty low already. Let's allow Grink to hit the boss here. And swap all these for safety. Do I want to Berry Blade anything? No, I think we'll just Tar Blade. We may want to sacrifice Groff here, because I do want to freeze the Krunker again. And if we do that, then we freeze Grink. So if we're sacrificing Groff at some point this encounter, this is probably the best turn to do it. I think that's the play, even though I don't love it, but we do need to continue to freeze this Krunker. Now I could do a reshuffle, we'd get a Shade Wisp and a random selection. I could also spend a turn tar blading this Spuncher before doing that. We're getting a Monch attack before, and thus a Groff attack before Krunker goes off, so that's good to know. I also don't really care about these guys, so maybe we just spend our turns ticking down the backline enemy. Here, though, I am going to redraw. So now I can get a Jun out, make sure there's something for Monch to eat. I can Azul Battle Axe this Crunker, dealing 2 to it, and also killing the Spuncher. So this is kind of nice against these scrap enemies. Let's do that. The Overburn effect, I think, is a very cool and very powerful mechanic. And then this should finish off this form of the boss, but we'll, of course, have to do the next form of the boss as well. I could Shade Wisp, and then Monch gains 11 attack. No, because the Grink will kill it. If I copy Crunker, it'll appear in the front 2 tiles, I believe. Let's actually just find out. Okay, I can't copy the boss, so fair enough. I could copy the Grink, but then the Grink would just kill it. So let's honestly just spend the turn redrawing, because my cards are so bad. I could also hit Tarblade this and split the boss immediately. So I believe this splits into a new form. And then the Moncher attack should do some damage to it. Great. Alright, so we got that, then we've resummoned some enemies. All active add +2 to all allies and -2 to all enemies. We're also bombarding these tiles for 5, so I would get hit by the... So my Groff is getting hit right now, but if I swap, then Dalka's getting hit, which is fine. We don't care about that. I could copy the Ice Forge, I could copy the Grink, but anything I copy is just going to die. I guess if I copy the Grink, then Monch will tank the 5 damage. So that's probably worth doing. And I can't copy constructs anyways. We take 5 damage on Monch for this, but we do get the Grink out. It also shoots itself a bunch. Alright, currently it's dealing all this damage to these guys, so I could use the Berry Bell or the Blizzard Bottle to keep the Grink alive for a turn. No, because the enemy is attacking for 3, so it would have to be the freeze effect to keep this alive. What if we swap? I'm going to redraw, because if I get my axe, I can clear both of these units. So we didn't get the axe. I could sacrifice the Grink for an attack with Groff, but that would mean that he would hit the spike wall and die. So rather than that, let's have... if I hit for negative damage, I wonder if that still breaks a scrap. When any damage is taken, no. So it would have to be damage. I think it's okay to just tank 3 damage and have Monch take this hit, because I need to deal 1 point to the spike wall. Oh, that guy died because he had no health. That's bad, actually, because I was counting on him with on being able to sacrifice him to the Yeti Skull. We can dodge all the bombards, though, so that's not terrible. Means I don't spend a turn developing anything useful, but that's okay. So we're dealing 1 damage to the Ice Forge from the enemy's actual bombard. I'm just going to spend this turn killing the spike wall, I think. We just dodged the enemy's attacks this round. Now we've got Monch attacking. Nothing I can summon to have him eat, but that's okay. Deal 2 damage and 2 frost to my Dalka. I think I'm okay with that as well, and we'll develop Snoof here. Oh, not there. Now, we're only attacking for 1 here. This guy is bombarding. I can do a bunch of dodging. I could Yeti Skull something. I could try to redraw into my freeze. But deck is still pretty bloated, so there's no guarantee we redraw into the freeze. I could also have Snoof attack right away, but all the enemies are getting hit regardless. So let's just tank 5 on Dalka here. Have Dalka deal 1 and kill the Ice Forge, and then gain 3 health back. And then, is there anything I want to do here? In addition to that, none of my cards really do anything here. I guess I could do a cooldown on Munch. I could redraw into something, but there's also not a ton that's valuable to redraw into here. This turn, at least. So let's reduce Munch's cooldowns. Now we've got the Grink attacking, but that's okay. Now I can do a redraw. We'll tank 1 on Munch, and then Munch will attack back. I can Shade Wisp something, but that would push a unit, either push a unit into the Munch lane, or just die to the Grink, so there's no point in copying anything. I could just kill this Grink, too, with the Battle Axe and deal 3 to the Trunker. That's probably the best move. Okay, it doesn't trigger if that actually kills the unit, so also good to know that mechanic. Now I can copy an enemy, but we can't copy this backline enemy regardless, so let's just Tarblade. This guy is attacking this round, and we don't have anything that can survive. Oh, it's only 3 damage right now. So I can have Groff tank it. I could also just have Snoof attack. Yeah, or anything attack, because it's a 2 health. Alright, nice. We got the second boss down. I don't really need more companions, because we're already struggling for board slots, but more card draw to get through our bloated deck is really good here. We got Munch recovered from injuries. That's great. Alright, I'd rather have a charm than more cards. Ooh, add 1 and gain Consume. So if I equip that to, like, the Battle Axe, that's pretty good. Trigger multiple times, so I could double summon something? Like, I could put this on my Tigris mask and summon 2 Tigrises. I don't think there's a lot that's actually good to use this charm on, so I'm for now gonna pass on it. Like, if I put it on Blizzard Bottle, that's bad, because I really need to have that freeze in my deck. If I put it on the Berry Bell, I could at least put it on like a Berry Bell or a Tarblade or something to shuffle those out of my deck. I guess I'll put it on a Tarblade, and that way I can have the Tarblades remove themselves from my deck. Then we're using this for the Consume more than the Frenzy. Alright, so these enemies, he's got 3 block to start. Apply 1 hate. When attacking, hit a random ally instead. Okay, so I don't really want those guys to go off, or at least not to hit anything important. But let's play out the team here. Now then, we've got the Bursters on 4 cooldown, the Crab on 5 cooldown. Most of that stuff doesn't matter. I can't copy an enemy, I can copy an... Or I can't copy an ally. I could copy an enemy, like this Crab. Copying the Crab is pretty nice. I could have Munch eat the Crab for 10 extra attack. So I guess let's just play both our summons this round. Because now I can have this tank a block and then also have Munch hit it. For now, I guess we'll just tag this to get rid of the block. I could also sacrifice a unit to like freeze these two for one turn and have Groff kill one of them. That's probably good, actually. So let's use our Yeti Skull first off. It's only a one-turn freeze, but it kills one of them as well. Another option is I could have Munch attack this turn, kill one of these, and then have Groff double hit the crab, or quadruple hit the crab, killing it. That's got to be the best turn for us overall, that we kill two enemies and grow our Munch enormously. Alright, there we go. And then this guy will get frozen by Snoof, only for one turn, but still worth doing. I guess I'll just play this Tar Blade. Or, actually, I'm going to play the Berry Bell, I think. That will have more relevance than the 1 damage to this thing. Now, we don't have a way to sacrifice if I reshuffle, because my Yeti Skulls is going back into the deck. But still worth the reshuffle. I can summon a second Groff here, probably. Yep, seems good to me. Then this guy is going to attack and apply a haze to something. I really don't want that to happen, but I could have the Tigris Mask tank that, because Tigris never attacks anyways. And that also gets the Tigris out, so that seems good. Kills that, heals my guy as well. Munch is going to eat my summoned Groff if we do it this way. I could also recall something, like I could just recall Snoof. It, again, feels bad to have Snoof get pulled out of my deck. Or get pulled out the turn he's going to attack. So, I think I'm okay. No, I really don't want to eat the summoned Groff. I'd rather just pull recall Snoof. Because this way we get to kill both of these units with the Munch attack. Actually, let's rotate everything around. So we multi-attack this down to 5, and then Munch just eats the Crawler. The Goblin I'm going to hit with the non-Frenzy Tar Blade, and then next turn I'll hit it with the Frenzy Tar Blade. And that way we get 3 Goblin hits. And get this Tar Blade out of our deck. Oh, it's got block, actually, even better. I'm not sure what gave it that block, but I'll take it. Alright, we are going to have this Burster attack if I don't do something about that. Which I really don't want, obviously, Munch to be attacking a random ally. So let's definitely just freeze the Burster here. If I hit the crab with the Easel Battle Axe, it also hits the Goblin and kills the crab. So that's worth doing, I believe. And then, do I have a way to... Yeah, I am, I think, guaranteed to redraw into Junjun Mask plus Yeti Skull for a double freeze. For a freeze next turn. On the Burster. Not a great way to trigger that freeze, but we might also just be able to get a Sunburst Tattoo and use that instead. So yeah, let's clear that, and then we can prevent the Bursters from attacking next turn. With this redraw. So I probably just Sunburst Tattoo the Munch, honestly. It does waste a Dalka attack, but it just one-shots the Burster here. And then we can save this combo for this Jun Mask plus Yeti Skull combo for next round. I could also summon a Burster with the Shade Wisp to tank, but I think this is going to be our best bet. Alright, while active at hog-headed to all enemies, cannot be recalled. Alright, well, we're probably not recalling stuff, but that does mean I don't want to play out Snoof. Because then we could get locked into a situation where Monch is guaranteed to eat him. Let's summon the Jun. And then I could Shade Wisp this Numbskull for a 12 block defender. Then, if I sacrifice something, I can have my Groffs attack a bunch. I could also just Berry Bell something. These single giant attacks are not super valuable, though. I guess let's sacrifice the Jun to start killing stuff. That'll kill the crab, at least. It only freezes those guys for one turn, but still worth doing. Next, we will, I guess, end up sacrificing this unit. I'd rather sacrifice the Numbskull, I think, than the Groff. And those are kind of our two choices here. I suppose I'll Soulbound the Numbskull, even though it doesn't really do much, but if it hits one of the two back guys, then that can be good. Yeah, so it hit the non-Numbskull enemy, which is what we wanted. Now I redraw. Resummon. And then we can freeze again, I guess. So this unit is attacking for 6, but I'm going to Yeti Skull... Or no, yeah, Yeti Skull, the Numbskull. Actually, I could just let these attack the Numbskull and then Yeti Skull later. And just, let's actually yank this guy to the front. Now, I do need to not let this Numbskull attack, because then it'll deal 6 to a random ally. I could just cooldown reduction Monch. I could sacrifice this to the Yeti Skull so that my Groffs kill the Bursters. Monch is going to do that anyways, like trigger the Numbskull anyways, though. So let's just do the cooldown effect on Monch. Having some multi-attacks against this, like, block enemy is pretty nice. Then I guess I'm gonna take a turn to Blizzard Bottle it. Because that basically just resets the turn and counts down my cooldowns by 1. And then we'll play our damaging effects as well. Got Monch at 26 attack here. I should reshuffle and look for a summon to try to trigger my Groffs, which we did get. And this is 1 extra damage. This is also just 1 damage. So I guess I'll play this because we won't have the option of playing it next round. Now, does Groff die right away? Oh, I guess we don't find out. But he only triggered the 1, so yeah, he only loses 1 health. Alright, great fight there. And then we're heading on to the final boss. I'm going to go for sure to the Munter. Yes, we will feed the Munter, and I'm going to get rid of my the one Tarblade that doesn't do anything, and probably just the Tarblade with the charm on it as well. It's either that or the Soulbound Skulls, but I think being able to one-shot some of the high-powered summons that we had in our last deck will be really good. So let's get rid of this Yank Tarblade. Actually, being able to pull them forward is also pretty appealing. We've got 3 cards that are basically dead all the time. The Berry Bell, the Tarblade, and the Soulbound Skulls. Berry Bell does have some consideration with the Shade Wisp. Soulbound Skulls will tag an enemy. We know they have health and no blocks and stuff, so we know that that can be useful. And Yank can maybe pull an enemy to the front, but I think the Tarblade is the least useful. Let's grab a Charm. Alright, this is going to be my first time fighting my old deck. Alright, set attack, health, and cooldown to 3. Okay, well, I can reduce the cooldown on Launch. That seems pretty good. I could... Yeah, I mean, honestly, that just seems like the play by far. It loses Launch 3 health, 3 base health, but he's gaining health anyways, and reducing the cooldown of his attack by 1 is really nice. Alright, let's face what we've got. So we've got Foxee, Colonel, and Big Berry, and Ousno all coming out to play, and this Foxee is super, super dangerous. So that's because we buffed him up so much last round. Now, only Ousno is immune to freezing in this lineup, so I could use the Yeti Skull plus a Jun Mask to freeze Foxee and Colonel. I could just cool down Munch and have him eat a Jun immediately, and then trigger Groff. I kind of like that, actually. Do we have another way to freeze in hand? We don't. So maybe that's not good. Because I do need to stop Foxee from ever attacking. If we did cooldown on... Oh, like, we could deal 10 to Foxee with Groff. And then next turn I could just kill Foxee with the Azul Battle Axe. So, yeah, so we can have Launch attack this turn. By Sunburst tattooing Munch. And then this just deals 6 direct damage, killing Foxee immediately. And then we don't have to deal with the Foxee attacking. Which is the real threat out of that deck. They might redraw the Foxee, but for now things are going okay. Oh, I guess I should have tried to summon Foxee as well. Add 5 to self and all allies is kind of cool. Or do I just want a 7 health attacker? I guess Big Berry is better than Ousno as a summon. Same attack, same health. But has the bonus effect. Now, I probably don't get to attack with Munch because I need to freeze Big Berry. Or I could do it the other way around and have Munch attack up here and just tank 7 damage on Dalka. What am I drawing into? Some summons, Soulbound Skulls. I could Soulbound Big Berry here. Or look for Blank Mask to copy Groff. Yeah, I guess copying Groff is good. Which would mean recalling Snoof. Oh no, because if I do that, then Big Berry just kills the Groff, because it comes in play in front. So let's just freeze something, or Sunburst Snoof, maybe. Then I can strike back hitting Big Berry. I could just, like, freeze Big Berry, too. Not take 7. Honestly, that's probably good enough. Alright, now I'm going to copy the Groff. I don't think we're ever attacking with the Jun-Jun, so I'm going to save that for a turn. That will push the Groff up, or will it push Dalka up if I do it that way? Let's find out. Okay, so that pushes the Groff up. Then we hit that for 4. So now we can Battle Axe to kill Big Berry. We can tank 9 with Ausno. Colonel will attack something for 6 as well, if I don't play a blocker or freeze him or something along those lines. So I could block with the Tigris or the Jun-Jun. Let's block with the Tigris. I don't need to have a free turn this turn. And tank 9 on Dalka. I guess we should do it the other way around, right? And then I want Snoof to freeze Colonel rather than hit Big Berry for 1. No, I guess I want to freeze Big Berry. No, I should freeze Colonel, and then we can kill Big Berry with the Battle Axe, and then I can use Tigris to tank this attack. Then we take 6 on Dalka. Now Munch is going to attack. So is Big Berry. So we'll do what we plan to do, kill Big Berry. And do I want to eat this Groff? No. So I recall Snoof. Play Jun-Jun to have Munch eat it. Then I want Munch to deal a bunch of damage to, I guess, to kill Colonel. And then the Groffs can attack Ausno, or do I want to do it the other way around? If Munch just hits Ausno, and then the Groffs will mostly kill the Ice Forge and will kill Colonel. So this is the cleaner way to do this attack. Oh, that guy was gaining health every time he was getting hit. So I should have done it the other way around, because I just did a bunch of shell on every single enemy, kind of for free. Alright, we can play a Jun-Jun and, like, soulbound it. I could do some freezing. I could copy an enemy, like I could copy this Ausno. So let's copy an Ausno. Get us a decent amount of attack on Munch when he goes off. Then I could soulbound the Jun-Jun. I could just, like, hit this Ice Forge for 1, or for 2, and get this Tarblade out of my deck. Let's clear this. Alright, we do have Grizzle attacking, but it'll be blocked by the Ausno anyways. Do I want Munch to eat 2 units? Probably. So we'll play this, and I will soulbound the Jun-Jun. So we should soulbound the Ausno, because it's going to die first. And then, man, that's a cool combo. Just did, like, a ton of damage to everything. Alright, next. I'll just spend a turn freezing this Bigfoot, I suppose. I assume this still is a 2-stage boss fight, even though we're just fighting our old deck. In redraw, I will do a Jun-Jun to tank this hit. Or I could just tank it on Munch or whatever, but well, we did want to play this anyways. And then I can freeze something, or I could cool down Launch, have Launch attack, and kill the Ousno. That would then also trigger all my Groffs to hit stuff. That seems pretty good. So we hit that, it does whatever the split is. Splits into the Frost Guardian, and allies killed lose half health and gain 2 attack. We've got Grink attacking and reducing damage by 2, but that doesn't matter. We've got 4 damage attack from the Frost Guardian, which basically doesn't matter. Both lanes are attacking, though, so I can't Shade Wisp this turn. I guess I could just Battle Axe down the Uba Bear here. It's at 1 health, but so it's a little bit of a waste of this effect, but it's the most dangerous enemy on the field right now. Oh, I did not pay attention to how that would increase this guy's attack. It didn't matter this turn, but I should definitely have paid attention to that. Let's do the Shade Wisp for the highest attack. Shade Wisp I guess if I do it this way, I need to Shade Wisp the Grink for the highest attack enemy. If I do it this way, we'll still kill the Grink and deal more damage to the Frost Guardian, as well as gaining the highest possible attack value off our Shade Wisp. So let's copy here. Launch attacks eating the Winter Worm. We drop this down to 99 health. I'm going to probably just tank a hit for 8. We're not killing anything this turn, so that's fine. We'll freeze that. Take the 8 damage hit, and then do a redraw. We are losing our Groff next time we trigger it, the sacrifice effect, so that's important to keep in mind as well. I don't really have a good way to clear the back lines here, other than maybe like actually attacking with a copied Bigfoot. So I think we're just having to deal 100 damage the hard way. Let's start by copying something. I guess I'll copy the... Oh, if I copy Frost Guardian and an ally dies, does it die? Lose half of 1 health? Because that's another bit of mechanic I don't know and could be kind of useful to know. Currently, we're taking both of these attacks. So let's tank this front attack on the Jun-Jun, and I will freeze the Winter Worm. Now we get to find out if the Frost Guardian just dies right away. Okay, it does not die. We hit everything for a bunch. Next, I just play out this Snoof, I think. Let's do a redraw. And I could Sunburst Tattoo Monch and have Monch just eat Frost Guardian. Put out the Jun-Jun here just in case something weird happens, and then we'll do that. Alright. That's a nice clean win for the Shadecrafter clan. Dalka has become the new Frost Guardian. That was pretty cool. I thought that deck wasn't going to do too hot because it was so bloated. Hey, win a charm with just my leader remaining. Alright, we missed out on 25 blings. Summon 25 allies in one battle. That's kind of cool. That's probably a pretty difficult achievement to get. Anyways, that was another Wildfrost run. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm really excited to have unlocked a new clan and to be climbing up the difficulty levels of this run. Thank you, my friends, for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, of course, feel free to comment, subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more of this and other games very regularly indeed. And I will catch you guys next time. Cheers, folks. GG.